The first point I'd like to make is I think it's entirely legitimate, and I say this not despite being a Muslim, but because I'm one, that we should indeed celebrate our Christian heritage more. Of course, people of no faith can also celebrate Christmas, but we should celebrate our Christian roots. And I think I would point out that these Christmas lights and the precise nature of the displays are determined primarily, I believe, by their private donors. So, it might be worth, but some of the wealthy Christians in this country, like, I don't know, Paul Marshall, considering actually asking the mayor if he'd like to have a proper Christmas display that celebrates Christmas properly next year, or maybe an Easter display, as that's coming up immediately after Ramadan, and we can actually, celebrate our Christian roots that way. I will say to Khadija, I think it's quite ridiculous to claim this is a display of intolerance. It's a bunch of lights with the words Happy Ramadan. And I'd like to know exactly who is not being tolerated, who is being mistreated, who is being told they have to have any particular attitude towards Islam or Muslims because there's some lights up in the street. I really can't think of anything more harmless or anodyne than this Ramadan display. And the correct solution, if people feel it's unfair to Christians or to our Christian heritage, which we absolutely should celebrate, is to celebrate that more, not to take down these completely harmless lights.
Okay, over to you, Khadija.
This is not about celebrating Christmas more or less. We do celebrate Christmas, but we have a very beautiful and settled way to celebrate religious festival here in this country. But Ramadan celebration, this manifestation of religiosity is unnecessarily excessive, and this emboldens polarization and a sense of exclusion and marginalization for other religious communities. And I think it's very important to highlight. Let me finish, please. It's very important to highlight that the month of Ramadan is also an excuse for religious fanatics and theocratic Islamic regimes to coerce individuals to adhere to their intolerable ideologies.
So
those who refuse to comply with the fasting rules
Ramadan lights in London,
laws, Ramadan is
guys, stop talking over each other. Hang on.
Not only
I'm just going to pause it there, Khadija.
But also here in Britain.
Sorry, this is nonsense. I'm sorry. Which Islamist regime?
Khadija and Jacob, both of you, just because our audience wants to be able to hear what you can say. Khadija, I'm just going to pass it back over to Jacob just to respond to some of your comments, and I'll pass it back to you again. Go ahead, Jacob.
This really is absolute arrant nonsense. Which oppressive Islamist regime is looking at London's Ramadan lights and feeling emboldened to oppress their people? Ramadan is a pretext for religious bigots. I mean, it's a month in which people refrain from eating and drinking for a certain time. That religious bigots will do what they want to do anyway, regardless of what lights are up in London. I really don't think these displays are as important as you're making out, and I certainly don't think that oppressive regimes are following Sadiq Khan's every move or obsessed over which lights are up in which streets the way that you seem to be.
I think this is embarrassing for us as a free and democratic country that we are celebrating and glorifying such draconian religious rituals and customs.
Well, we're not. We're celebrating not eating and
let me
drinking
please
for a month.
finish.
Is that a draconian
Please, that's how we cannot have a decent debate. You think you can talk over and win the debate? I think that's not the way we do here in Britain. We have to listen to the other person as well. So I'm saying that there are many closeted apostate and ex-Muslim even here in Britain who have been made to fast, and if they refuse to comply, they have been treated very badly by their own family members. I have been in touch. I have reported some cases in my articles that there are people who have been suffering in silence, even in this country. So there are people in this country, they are free to follow whatever they believe they may choose for themselves. However, we don't have to glorify and celebrate such rituals, which can be used as an excuse to coerce people into compliance.
Okay, Jacob, final word to you.
I quite agree. No one is being required to celebrate Ramadan. No one's being required to fast. Now, if individuals are being threatened with violence by their families or their communities, then that's a wrong. I agree that's disgraceful, and it's also a crime, and the law should be enforced properly. The Ramadan lights have absolutely nothing to do with it. This is a woke storm in a teacup, and it's
celebrating oppression is disgraceful.
All right, well, both of you...
even in the name of religion.
Khadija, Jacob, both of you, thank you very much for a heated debate this evening. Journalist and commentator Khadija Khan and director at the Domestic Policy, the Pickthall House, Jacob Williams. Thank you both very, very much. Fiery stuff, eh?